Hello and welcome. Today I've got another black and white picture from the Isle of Skye and I'm gonna edit this. The only thing that I've done right now is just turning the picture into black and white from color. Other than that, I haven't made any adjustments. And this is not gonna be really like a tutorial, it's really just gonna be a video of me editing. So I'm not gonna explain every slider as much in detail as I do in some of my other videos. So I really think this scene has a lot of potential. I really love these shapes, especially in black and white, and I really think I can make something out of it. First thing I'm gonna do is actually straighten the whole image because I feel like it's a little bit crooked even though there's not really a horizon in the picture. I still think it will work better if I kinda straighten it, something like that. So first of all, of course, bringing down the highlights. And the shadows, I'm actually not quite sure here. This really is a very different picture to what I usually edit. Let me leave out the shadows for right now and go down to the blacks. And I definitely want to add a lot of blacks here. I really want to make this picture very moody and very dark. Just very much black. And I still think I'm gonna raise the shadows a little bit here. Usually I would raise it a lot and just bring down the blacks, but I really don't like this harsh look. I kinda wanna go for a very dark, yet a little bit soft feel for this image. So let me just see here. Contrast could be interesting as well. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of contrast here. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna make this overall picture really dark and then just go into the local adjustments and add a little bit of plus exposure. But for now, I'm not really gonna worry about making stuff too dark. Just gonna make sure that I don't overexpose anything in the sky, of course. Let's just fix the sky right away with a graduated filter, bringing down the exposure here quite a lot. Yeah, definitely. I love this look, adding a lot of contrast as well as a lot of clarity. That really looks amazing. I definitely do like this. By the way, leave me a comment down below if you like these kind of videos, or if you'd rather see me do, straight up tutorials and editing pictures where I actually have an idea of what I want to do to it. But, I just thought I'd try something new, and I really just wanted to edit this picture regardless, so I thought, why not record it and try a new format. So I feel like I'm gonna add a little bit of clarity because I really like this look, but once again, I don't want to go for a very harsh picture right there. So I'm not gonna add too much, just maybe like 20, 25, something like that. And I can always add a little bit of clarity later in the background with these rocks. So that looks pretty good. Color temperature really isn't that important if you add a black and white picture. It will have a little bit of a difference, but unless you go into the extremes, which, I never found to be something that I want to use, it really doesn't have that big of an impact to your picture. But I'm gonna play around with it. I kinda like the more towards the warm tones just because it adds a lot of plus highlights in the sky. But I can do that later on the tonal curve regardless, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. Weird, when I go towards the magenta it adds a little bit more highlights, but when I go into the greens it makes everything a little bit darker. Very interesting. I think I'm done with the basics adjustment here for now, so I'm just gonna go down to the tonal curve and I'm definitely gonna raise the highlights here. But I really don't even want this full dynamic of the picture. I definitely do want some bright parts, but I don't want to bring it up that much because that's almost a little bit distracting from the rest, since the rest is so dark. Just gonna leave that there and just play around with the rest. Maybe bring up the lights a little bit. That looks pretty good. Actually kinda like this look even better, but then it's really too dark. Maybe I'm gonna try and bring down the darks and in return bring up the shadows a little bit. Let me see in the history right here. Yeah, I feel like it almost works actually. Maybe not that much, however. So really, as I just said, I'm just playing around here, and it's not really a tutorial, because when I make a tutorial I have straight ideas of, you know, what this picture is gonna look like at the end. You know, if you don't like the video, just give me a dislike so I actually know if I should continue making these kind of videos or if I should just stick to the tutorials. Split toning, I mean, often, even if it's a black and white picture, you can add split toning, and I actually find it to work from time to time. I mean, here it doesn't even look bad with some color in the highlights. I'm actually thinking about leaving them in. It kind of creates a little bit more interest instead of just a plain black and white picture. I'm not sure, maybe a little bit later. I feel like I want to stay pure black and white for now. Detail tool, I mean, I'm really not caring as much about getting the perfect detail and, you know, getting the perfect result for printing. I'm really just trying to get a good look, but I'm definitely gonna add a little bit of sharpening. By the way, if you edit the black and white picture, I often found that adding a lot more sharpening works even better than in color. So if you have a color picture, sharpening often shows up way sooner as unnatural and as noise as it does with black and white. So you really can crank up the sharpness if you're editing black and white. Obviously bringing the masking slider to the right. And noise reduction, definitely not gonna add noise reduction. I really don't like noise reduction, as you surely know, but especially in black and white pictures it looks like even worse. It really ruins the whole mood, and especially in black and white pictures I don't mind noise at all. So that looks pretty good already. The rest of the sliders don't have to do anything there. Let's go to profile correction, choose my lens and just get rid of the distortion. That's definitely a nice thing. But I'm gonna bring down the vignetting just because I feel like I want some vignetting here in the picture. Then effects, of course, I could add some more vignetting and I really think that works for this picture. But I'm not gonna do it as much as I want in the end. I'm just gonna add a little bit of vignetting here and then add some more vignetting in the bottom left corner and in the bottom right corner, maybe with a graduated filter. Let's just start off with the bottom left corner, just make it very soft and just add vignetting in that corner right there. Yeah, that definitely works. So I almost feel like, even though the sky is really cool, I love the way how it looks, it's almost a little bit too much, and I feel like I might have messed up the framing in camera just because there's not enough foreground here. So let me just try and bring down the sky a little bit and just kind of maybe even try and get the rule of thirds composition after cropping. Something like this. I actually feel like that works a lot better, yeah. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe, yeah. I feel like that works really good. I really like that look. So, actually might be even still a little bit crooked. Let me try and fix that a little bit further. Something like this. Yeah, that works even a bit better. Now, I do like the overall look. I definitely do like it. Let's go and do the profile here at the camera calibration just for fun. Camera landscape. That kind of raises some of the shadows. I actually kind of like that. Here, camera portrait. Camera landscape. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna stick with camera portrait because I really like the look that it adds to the bright parts, and it doesn't raise the dark parts as much as camera landscape. Camera portrait, camera standard. Damn, really a tough choice here. I feel like I might even go with camera standard just because the overall look is a little bit more soft here. So I do like it, and I feel like I'm almost done with the global adjustments. So local adjustments definitely is gonna be a lot that I'm gonna do here, especially dodge and burning. So let's just start. I'm gonna do all of this editing, you know, I'm not gonna skip anything, so it's just raw footage of how I edit this picture. And I'm definitely gonna create the plus exposure filter first. And often I just kind of think about where I want to add it before I actually add one, just to kind of see the difference with and without. I feel like all of this area is kind of a little bit too dark. I mean, it's not too dark, but a little bit too even. So just adding a little bit of light for interest here, not too much, just something like this. Yeah, that definitely works. Then I'm gonna duplicate that and maybe add maybe add one here. Definitely not with that much exposure, but just a little bit. Something like this. Maybe even mix it with clarity. And actually, speaking of clarity, let me just add a rail filter in the back with these mountains in the back right here. And just add clarity. Yeah, I definitely do like this look. That really does look great. So, I'm gonna add an adjustment brush here. I'm just gonna skip some of the dodge and burning for now, with the radial filter at least, and I feel like for this picture it might even work better if I use dodge and burning with the adjustment brush. So let me add a little bit more vignetting here. That's, by the way, if you press down O, you see where your masking is, so just by pressing O again it will get rid of it. I'm just gonna add a little bit down here just because I want to close out the picture, and maybe even on the right part so there's almost no detail anymore. Maybe just a little bit. Yeah, something like that works pretty well. Then I'm definitely gonna add another adjustment brush and go a little bit plus exposure just for the highlights of this stream right here. I don't want to overdo it, you know, I don't want to make it seem unnatural, but just adding a little bit more exposure to these bright parts, especially in the stream right here. I think that works pretty well. Maybe add a little bit of plus exposure down here. Actually, let me grab another adjustment brush for that. Just something like this. Obviously it's way too much for now, but I'm gonna fix that in a second. Maybe a little bit here, a little bit here. I really like the adjustment brush for adding very small amounts of dodge and burning. Maybe a little bit on this beach here, some stones there, and maybe a little bit of interest right there. Obviously that doesn't really look great, and now I'm gonna bring down the exposure value of that adjustment brush so it really just gives a hint and doesn't look as distracting. Here's before any adjustment brushes and here's after. I do like this look. So I feel like I'm almost done with this picture actually. Let me just grab a graduated filter, a very harsh edge here, and just bring down the exposure on the very top of the sky here to close out the picture. Yeah, that definitely works great. Let me just quickly see how it looks in a bigger preview. I feel like there's just a little bit too much even lighting. So let me grab a graduated filter and just drag a huge one over the top right of the picture. A very, very soft edge here. And just kinda introduce a little bit of plus exposure. And maybe even grab another one in the very top right corner. Also very smooth transition. And just add even more exposure. That is before any graduated filters and here's after. And that way it really looks like some of the light comes in from the right, the top right, and getting darker towards the left. And I really think that dynamic works really, really well. Let me just get quickly rid of this sensor spot right here. and then I think I am pretty much done with this picture. So it really wasn't a tutorial or any guide on how to edit pictures. Really just wanted to edit this picture because I thought it would be interesting to share it and, you know, try a new format. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you dislike this video, give me a thumbs down. You know, please don't feel bad about giving me a dislike. It's really helps me out to see what kind of content you like and what kind of video you like. So here is the picture in black and white without any adjustments to it, and here's after editing it. It's a really dark, almost Ansel Adams like, of course not nearly as great as an Ansel Adams picture, but just in terms of the tones and the contrasty look, I think it has something from him. So thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it if you stuck around that long on this kind of weird video. But anyways, I want to wish you a really great day, and please take care.